All right, welcome to a live edition of BS with CSR. Monday Night Raw just ended. Wasn't the greatest Raw ever? A lot of stuff to talk about tonight. BS with CSR is going to be a little different going forward. We're going to be here every week. We're not just going to bring you wrestling. We might bring you entertainment. We might bring you pop culture. We might bring you sports. Hell, we might even talk politics one of these nights. You never know. But to start the show off, we got to stick to the basics. We got to stick to what got us here. Monday Night Raw. There was one thing that I really, really liked, but that was pretty much it. I mean, the show started with a god-awful segment of Money in the Bank that saw the return of people. I don't know what the hell that was, but and then it was a thread throughout the whole show. I mean, I don't know what the hell. All I can think is that means we're going to see Vicky Guerrero. That means we might see Mike Adamle. That means we might see Eric Bischoff, whoever the hell else was GMs over the years. I mean, is this going to be the running bit? We get the brand split?
I certainly hope not. I mean, I have to admit, when I saw Teddy Long come out there, when I heard the music, I was like, Teddy Long? I was like, I didn't see that coming. I didn't really want to see that. And I don't know if it was just playing with the shtick there, but like he didn't come off too well. And if he's, granted, I know it's a work, but if he was wanting the job, he didn't come off too well at it. I don't want to see, Vicky was a great heel. I don't want to see her back at all either. I don't know. I don't like this. I just don't. To me, this is a time killer until we get there, and it's just not worth it. I don't think it is anyway.
Yeah, I don't really see the point of it either. There's just no. We know what's going to happen. Either Shane McMahon, Stephanie, or Triple H is going to run SmackDown. Mm-hmm. Vicky Guerrero's not, Teddy Long's not, or somebody brand new, maybe. But I don't even see that. I see it being in the McMahon family. So I just don't see the point of this.
I will say they are kind of teasing it just a tad that it may be someone different. And I like that. But I don't know who it could be.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't – if I thought there was a realistic chance of it being somebody else, then yeah. But there's not. I just don't see it. So that bothered me. I got to ask a question. I like Seth Rollins. I like Roman Reigns. Is there something missing to this match for you? It just doesn't feel as big as it should to me right now.
Really, I love the videos tonight. I thought the video packages were amazing, and the reason why I kind of liked them so much was because you don't need those guys on every Raw. You don't need your world heavyweight champion on every Raw because I think it's just it's overdoing it. I love the videos. I thought that, again, they've kind of sort of got that UFC feel to them. It felt big, and there were some long videos too. They really went through their history. So I kind of wondered what they're. I'm interested to see what they do with the Ambrose Asylum next week because they're adding Ambrose in it. But that they showed a lot.
I will agree with you. I did like the videos, and every video they ever produce is always great. I don't know. I just like tonight. I just walked away feeling like McMahon. Okay, let me put it this way. Shane McMahon last week said this match could be the main event of WrestleMania. I don't feel that way right now. I don't feel like it's that big a match. I don't know. There's just something that is missing for this match for me right now.
Well, honestly,
maybe next.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, well, honestly, I feel like this, and while I think this pay-per-view is going to be great, I almost feel like this is almost a setup for. It's almost like a WrestleMania light pay-per-view. I think this is going to be these matches we're going to see it at WrestleMania again. That's why I don't think we're getting everything they have in these feuds. I think it's going to happen like Styles and Cena. That's just how I feel with this. So I don't feel like you're getting your all in these feuds. Even though the promo was great with Styles and Cena. But
hold on, we'll talk about that in depth here in a second. So you really think that you're not going to get you think they're going to drag out to WrestleMania all these feuds?
Well, not all of them, but what I'm saying is I don't think you're going to get all this. Because, this is in the, they don't give their all during this time of the year, even though I think Money in the Bank has kind of been that pay-per-view now that's replaced King of the Ring, and it's kind of their, it's in that kind of big four type deal. I just feel like these feuds are kind of just, I've read something the other day where they said McMahon's like, he's hard pressed to want to get Styles and Cena going already. And they're like, hey, you need to hold off. This is a WrestleMania type match. So I don't know. I just feel like these matches, this is where they have to go right now. But I don't think you're going to get all out of it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm with you there, and that's possible. All right. So the one thing that hold on. We're going to go a different route. I feel like, and it kind of, I kind of like it, but it kind of bothers me. I don't know how much longer Big Cass and Enzo are going to be a team. The way they keep booking Cass, he's hit the tanning bed a lot more than he did when he first arrived. He's looking a little bit, like he might be hitting the gym a little harder than he did when he first got there. I just feel like Vince McMahon already has Big Cass ticketed for superstardom, and poor Enzo may be left either being on his own or being his manager. Yeah,
and also it's speaking that way, especially just with the whole brand split coming up, which is it sucks, but because this tag team, I mean, you don't see a crowd get into a tag team like that anymore. And they do. I mean, they hang on every word. I mean, even Big Cass, even some of the stuff he says is, well, granted, both things they say is cheesy, but they hang on to every word that both of those guys say.
Right.
I mean, again, this would be a total Vince move, and it's bad timing. It's really bad timing.
And I will say, I'm not real sure that I really dig the announcement of the four-way tag title match at Money in the Bank. I mean, it protects the New Day for not taking a loss, but I don't think it does a ton for the Vaudevillains. I don't mind, but if Enzo and Cass don't win, I don't see how it helps them either. I don't know. I don't know that I like that.
Well, granted, I'm sure we're going to get into our predictions next week, but do you see any way? Like, I could see that the club coming out and winning this. I could see that.
I think that's what happens. I think the club does win tag titles. But then that's why I don't like the fact that Enzo and Cass are involved in it. Because I don't think it does anything for them. I think like I said, I think it helps protect the New Day by having you could have the Vaudevillains take the fall. You could have Enzo and Cass, take the fall or something like that. The New Day doesn't have to. And that continues the feud between Gallows and Anderson and the New Day. But I don't like the fact that Enzo and Cass are involved in it. But, okay, so let's talk about what was by far the highlight of Raw. By far. John Cena reaffirmed tonight why he is the face that runs the place, because he cut a fantastic promo opposite AJ Styles. And I'll go ahead and say this, too. AJ Styles cut the best promo I've ever seen him cut before. That, I'm not a big I loosely followed New Japan, so I don't know how he did, if he did cut promos there with it being Japanese, but the AJ Styles that I used to watch at TNA could not cut a promo like the AJ Styles tonight. And I loved it. I loved the shots they were kind of taking at each other. I loved the little subtle shot John Cena took at Roman Reigns, probably setting up something down the line between those two. I just loved every freaking second of it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and of course I'm in the Smart Mark crowd and all that, but I mean, it's one of those years you hated Cena, but you didn't know what you had, and then you kind of realize what this guy does, and now as you see he's come back, I mean, he is the freaking star. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, the dude, he does everything. He does it to 110%, and that promo was unreal. And he always has those good promos when he comes back and stuff like that. And this was no exception. And it might be one of his best ever. But the only thing that kind of got me was I didn't know how Styles was going to respond, because there was one shot of him, like it's even like he got lost for a second and how good the promo was. It's almost like he was a deer in headlights. Like he was like, whoa, this is really good. I don't know how I'm going to respond to this. But he came back and he nailed his part too, and even going with the whole burying, type deals.
Right, and I think he did. I mean, I think he probably, AJ probably was a little bit over his head because that's still as good as he's gotten over the years. That's not AJ's strength by far. That's what AJ said. AJ even said it. You do this, you do that, but, whatever. You embarrass me when it comes in the ring, or you're not in my league. I don't know how he worded it. But basically, AJ made the point of, look, you might be great on the mic, but I can run circles around you in the ring. But I was so impressed with AJ's promo tonight. And AJ – and I'm very impressed with the fact that AJ was in a week's time was able to completely transition from one of the top baby faces in the WWE right now with everybody loving him. Mm-hmm. He got boos when he came out tonight.
Yeah. And I think that almost affirms how strong of a face Cena still is, even though he gets the boos from the smart marks and all that stuff. But, I got to ask you this. I know we're halfway through the year, basically, and is AJ Styles an MVP contender for the WWE right now? I mean, he hasn't won the feuds, but man, this guy's made a huge impact that no one thought he would. Really, I mean, everybody thought he would probably get buried. He's not that big of a guy, I mean, he's might be buried at WrestleMania because he got beat by Jericho. I mean, this dude has put on a show. I mean, he's been the highlight of most Raws and pay-per-views.
I mean, yeah, he's got to be in the conversation of if you called an MVP, judging an MVP of WWE. Because an MVP in a sports league is based on stats and wins.
Yeah. Oh no, I get that. I'm just saying, the guy that you want to watch. I mean, last year, the guy that was Rollins.
I'll put it this way. From January to June. Considering the fact that you haven't had Cena, you haven't had Rollins, the product in the shows wouldn't have been the same without AJ.
Yeah. I mean, it proves how big of a signing he really was, I think.
So now this begs the question. Let me ask you: is there any chance that Cena and AJ close the show over Rollins and Reigns?
No, I don't think so. Of course, again, it is Cena's comeback show, but I don't think so. I mean, they're building this Reigns and Rollins pretty heavy, and Rollins was getting main events. When he was there. I mean, because not all WWE champions have gotten main events before. Ask CM Punk that. When Cena's around. So I get just saying. So no, I don't. I think this is kind of some way middle of the card. But it'll probably steal the show though.
Yeah. All right. So we're a week away from Money in the Bank. We've still got the 7th Money in the Bank contender to be named.
Is that still happening? Because
the way they made it sound, the way they acted tonight, it didn't. But that could just be to make Bray Wyatt's return, that much more of a surprise or something, I guess.
Yeah.
We've got the final week of build up between Rollins and Reigns, which I feel like there's got to be the generic contract signing or some kind. I feel like they have to get physical next Monday.
Do you want? I don't know. I don't want them to touch. I don't know. I don't want them to touch. I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like Reigns has to get one up on Rollins because he doesn't have it yet.
Yeah.
I mean, you figure he got pedigreed at Extreme Rules. They had the cat and mouse game last week. Mm-hmm. Then they did nothing, tonight. I feel like Roman's got to get something. He ain't getting one up on him on the mic because Rollins is better than Roman on the mic, so it's got to be physical.
Does Reigns play a cat and mouse with him, I wonder, which would be awful, but
that would be so horrible. I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not.
And then I feel like Cena's got to get a one up on AJ next week.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, he kind of did tonight, but
Yeah, but he didn't get it on AJ.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I feel like he's got to get it on AJ next week. So that's going to be interesting to talk about. But now we got to transition to – I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud. I'm actually going to say these words. We got to transition to something about TNA to talk about. Because TNA is tomorrow night, and I got to be honest with you. I'm not saying I'm going to watch it live, but for the first time in probably at least a year, I think I'm actually going to DVR an episode of TNA.
Wow.
And I'm going to DVR it because of Broken Matt Hardy. in this crazy ass angle that the Hardy Boys are involved in TNA.
Well, you are broken Blake Mitchamore for that now because
might be.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about putting a blonde streak down my hair.
If you start with a horrible accent on the next show, then I'm quitting. I mean, this show is over then. So
what if I call you brother? What if I call you Brother Nero?
Well, I've been called worse. So
probably me.
Yeah, that's true. This was one, and I wrote about this on bscsr.com. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in wrestling. And again, I've saw the Piper with Alcatraz. I've saw the Ultimate Warrior throw up.
Piper with Alcatraz was not that bad.
That was stupid. It didn't even have an end game, I don't think. I saw Hogan put his hand underwater like he was in some kind of dream and he'd say it wasn't hot. I saw Mae Young give birth to a hand.
Whoa! What's the Hogan thing?
Oh, you gotta see this. I forgot what it's on now, but like I forgot who Hogan was going up against. It was in WCW. But he puts his hand under this water, and again, you've got to see the scenario. If I try to explain it, it'd confuse you even more. But he puts it under there, and he goes, "It's not hot," and like it was supposed to be. I'm not sure, but again, Mae Young giving birth to a hand. It just a play. Oh, Katie Vick, we can't forget that. Yeah,
that is classic and one of a kind angle.
And still, I believe this was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Even though I may be starting to change because it made me laugh, and I kind of want to watch it over and over again. It's funny.
You can say what you want. You can say it's the worst thing ever. You can say all that stuff, but you know what it's doing? It's getting people to talk about freaking TNA for the first time
I agree.
in years. And I guarantee you this. I said it on bscsr.com. I'll say it here. I guarantee you Impact Wrestling, it may only be 40,000 or something like that. We'll see ship tomorrow night because of this angle. I guarantee it. And that simple, and those simple facts makes it a success. Now, it's absolutely out there, one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And Brother Nero is just, I can't get over that voice, but it's working. People are talking about TNA.
Yeah, I mean, it is amazing. Out of all the things that happened last week, we had Styles turning heel on Cena. We had the Will Ospreay and Ricochet match that everybody was talking about because it wasn't wrestling or was it not, then we have this Brother Nero and Broken Matt Hardy. This is one of the top things in wrestling. And I can't believe it. Again, it looked like a Mexican soap opera the way it was filmed. It looked terrible. And it was poorly acted as a Mexican soap opera as well. The throwing of the baby, was absolutely ridiculous.
But
I don't know, the table swap was pretty bad.
The table swap was bad. I don't even know why that was done that way because
that had to hurt.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the unbreakable table. But like I said, all I can tell you is that I may not watch it live, but I will at least DVR Impact Wrestling tomorrow to see what the next step in Brother Nero versus Broken Matt Hardy is.
You let me know if that's any good because that's not getting my DVR. TNA they've broken my heart.
This is the best thing TNA's done since James Storm threw Mickey James in front of the train.
Oh, wow. Oh, I forgot about that. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen, too. That's terrible.
No, that was good. That's what TNA – that's where you're wrong.
That's terrible.
That's exactly the kind of stuff TNA needs because they're so dead. People hate them. They need to do stuff outside the box, almost Attitude Era-esque stuff to be the antithesis of WWE right now.
I'm not.
And killing Mickey James is by throwing her in front of the train was genius.
Well, I'm not going to completely argue with you that they need to be different, but that's a bit too much. I don't know. I don't care about that. Again, it's work, but it's just stupid.
Yeah, it's not like they really killed Mickey James.
I know.
Now.
Oh, I know because heck, if you watch Lucha Underground, they kill people all the time. So
exactly. It's fake,
but way better. What did you just say? You just said the
fake.
F word.
I said the other F word. Fake.
Yeah, you said the F word. So.
All right. Enough about the Hardys, even though I dig it. Even though it wasn't that good, I'm not gonna lie, but it was entertaining and it made people watch. So I'm a fan. You did a good job, Matt Hardy.
Yeah, yes. Suck up to him. So.
hey, whatever you got to do.
Nah,
all right, so we got to talk the big news, which I got to admit, when this thing hit Saturday, I was literally shocked. Didn't see this coming. We had no indication. Ariel Helwani breaks the story. Brock Lesnar close to a deal to fight at UFC 200. I'm like, what? He's still under contract with the WWE. Vince isn't going to let him go. But he did let him go. It's, right now at least it's a one-fight deal. Brock says he called Dana White, then he went and had a big boy meeting with Vince. And I got to say, it's freaking absolute genius. Both sides. The UFC outside of Conor McGregor, the UFC gets their biggest draw of all time back. Matter of fact, still their biggest draw of all time. UFC 100, which was headlined by Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir, is still the #1 pay-per-view UFC's ever had.
Yeah.
WWE gets, their biggest name-wise, well, maybe close second to John Cena with all the ESPYs and movies and crap, but one of their 2 biggest names on a UFC pay-per-view in a mainstream sport that's probably going to draw at least 2 million people and be the talk of the sports world for a weekend, and he's in a co-main event slot.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Brock Lesnar doesn't suffer some kind of major injury, this is absolute genius for everybody involved.
Yeah, you're right. I don't see how. It's big business. Again, all it took was the right people to get rich. That's what it took. That's all it was. I'm not sure. The thing I'm interested most in this is to see what all WWE actually gets out of this, though. I know they're getting.
We're going to talk about that here in a minute. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. Just think about this, because Brock's going to go fight at UFC 200. Mm-hmm. If he wins dominantly, or even wins, or if he has a 5-round war with Mark Hunt and loses by decision, it doesn't matter. He's going to go into SummerSlam, and it's the mystique of Brock Lesnar, this animal, this beast incarnate that he gets called, is that much more, because whenever whoever he fights, here's a guy that just went and had a real fight and kicked some dude's ass.
Yeah.
What's he look like now fighting Seth Rollins or John Cena? Or I'll get to who I think he's going to fight, and it's going to piss off the internet here in a minute. But it's just going to make Brock be that much more of a star for the WWE. Vince, unless Brock blows out a knee or breaks some kind of injury that will take more than a couple weeks to heal, Vince cannot lose by doing this.
No.
I don't even care. I honestly don't even care if he loses. I still think if he loses in the world of WWE, it makes him a bigger star.
Yeah. To me, even if he loses, I don't care. He's still over big time. He just competed in the UFC. I think JR pointed out. He said, there's a difference between sports and show business. It's just the way it is. And Brock, the WWE benefits huge out of this. You can't get, it's Brock Lesnar, for goodness sake. So I don't know anything about his opponent that much, though. I've heard the guys that, he's a knockout specialist. That's what I'm kind of interested to see. So I don't know if you have to worry about as much of him breaking a leg. I don't know if he's much of a submission guy. So to me, this might just be a big brawl, which is probably what they were wanting for, looking for with Brock.
Right. Unless it's you've seen, if you follow UFC over the years, you have freak injuries. Like Anderson Silva broke his leg in 2 different places. Doing a leg kick on a guy. He just snapped his shin. So, it can happen, but yes, most likely, Mark Hunt is a guy who will stand in front of you and just throw bombs. So, if Brock may break a nose or something if he catches him really good, but it's probably not going to be like a knee or anything like that, unless he knocks him out in his knee, or whatever. But,
how much say do you, how much say do you think WWE had in his opponent, though?
I don't think any.
Really? I thought I figured at least there had to be some. There had to be at least some part of it.
Maybe, maybe Vince or somebody said, hey, just don't go get like we just talked about, then we'll get with a guy that can snap your arm or something because we need you back for SummerSlam or something. Maybe, but I really don't think anything because, I mean, the way – and granted it's Brock, but the way Brock made this sound was he went to Dana. Dana said, yeah, I want you if you can figure it out. He went to Vince, and Vince said, sure, whatever. So I don't really think anything because, I mean, honestly, outside of it, like I said, especially with Mark Hunt, Mark Hunt is a guy who will not go to the ground. He will stand in front of you and try to knock you out. If he goes to the ground, that means Brock Lesnar took him down wrestling-wise. That's it. I mean, that's the only thing that's going to happen. So there's not really a big risky injury outside. Brock may get knocked out, but there's just as good a chance that Brock's going to take this dude down and ground and pound his ass and knock him out like he used to when he was the UFC champ.
Yeah.
So I really don't see – I think the UFC and Brock – I don't think WWE had input. I think UFC and Brock probably said, hey, I want to do this, but you got to give me somebody that, you know, that I don't want a cakewalk, but I don't want to sit in there with a guy that's going to, you know, try to rip my arm off either because I got other stuff I got to do. I'm making millions over here too.
Right.
That's where the input – I don't think Vince had any input. I think Vince just said, hey, just don't go get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, Vince probably said I'm guessing – when he renegotiated his contract last year before WrestleMania 31, there was a clause for this in there, and there's probably something that says, hey, if you get hurt, then, yeah, you know, we're not paying you until, you know, pay – because I think his contract, from what I understand, is paid by date almost, so, you know, he won't get paid for a while. But that all that aside – what WWE gains from that? They gain, obviously, the profile of Brock Lesnar being even bigger. You know, the presence of ESPN at SummerSlam is going to be even greater if Brock is coming off a major win at a major UFC event. I mean, it's just going to increase the you know, what I would do, here's the input. If I was Vince, here's the input I would say. You got to figure out a way to have Heyman walk you out to the ring, walk you out to the octagon. You got to walk out to your WWE music.
I've heard. Yeah, they got to do that. Yeah.
We need some. You know, we need some crossover, in this to show that you are one of our guys.
Does he have WWE Network logo on his trunks?
Well, see, that's interesting because Brock has not fought since the UFC went to this Reebok deal where they have Reebok fight gear.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. And that's an interesting part I want to see too. Did Brock cut a deal to where he can still wear his own shit?
Yeah, I forgot about the whole Reebok deal. I didn't even think about that.
So that's going to be an interesting part also. But I think that's where you'll see the crossover. I think you'll see Heyman, and I think you'll hear that Brock Lesnar music because you got to make some kind of connection to the WWE. I mean, the UFC announcer is going to talk about it, and the goal is hopefully those 2 million people that are watching Brock on UFC 200, and I guarantee you'll hear Mike Goldberg and Joe Rogan talk about SummerSlam is, hey, let's check out what Brock's doing in August too and get the network and buy SummerSlam and all this stuff. I mean, that's the goal, but that's not the only goal. People talk about Ronda Rousey. The name surfacing right now is, I don't know if you know who this is, it's Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I don't know a lot about her, but yeah, I've heard of her though.
She's the up and coming fighter, but the difference between Paige Van Zandt and Ronda Rousey is not to demean Ronda Rousey, but Paige Van Zandt is a lot hotter and she's more of a woman. She's not it's not quite as manly as Ronda Rousey. She just got off of Dancing with the Stars and did really well. And Paige Van Zandt to me kind of fits more in line with the WWE women or WWE diva.
Yeah,
she's athletic, she's muscular, but she's a chick. She's not dudeish. Ronda's a little dudeish.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I get what you're saying there. Yeah. So I mean, I still think Ronda's in the cards though. I still think somewhat.
Ronda's in the cards because Ronda's a big WWE fan.
Yeah.
So Ronda's going to get involved some way because of that, because Ronda wants to be involved. Right. I think they see Paige as more of their person and their kind of girl. So they want Paige at SummerSlam, is from what I hear.
Yeah.
To do some kind of match. The other thing I think this could lead is, and the internet's going to disagree with me here, I think this ultimately could lead good old CM Punk coming home to the WWE.
Yeah, it's interesting because I want to see if that bridge can be gapped there. I mean, because it is interesting. There, UFC, WWE's in talks now. It's a long shot, but it's something to think about. I mean, because
if that dude goes out and gets his ass handed to him and gets dropped in the first round in his fight in August, if he actually has it, unless he really is true. All right, good God. Unless he really is, the statements he says is legitimate and he never needs to work again, the dude's going to have to do something.
Yeah. It's interesting because just look at the way that WWE has changed since Punk has left. I mean, all these...
It's a lot more up his alley now.
Exactly. I mean, and I wrote about this. I wrote about this in this whole Brock deal. I mean, everything has just changed with WWE now in the past 2 years. Since they got the network and they've been getting all these guys, that's come from like Ring of Honors, New Japan. Again, they're all in CM Punk's alley. They're all like him. And it's, even this whole deal of letting Brock, and again, I get that it's Brock Lesnar, but it's still big because you never would have saw Vince do anything like this even 5 years ago, I don't think. I mean, Vince was living in paranoia for years, I think, because of everything that happened with WCW and all the guys that got away from him and all the money that got away and almost losing his business. The paranoia is no longer there. He knows Vince has got to know what he is now. They are the show. Yeah. So I think you're going to see a lot more things happen now like this.
Major business, and for all those people that say, "Oh, well, you're the only show in town. You could go back, do whatever you want." Stuff like this is why they don't ever go back to the Attitude Era, because when you have a better corporate profile and you have a better look like more of a legitimate company and not. This is why you get ESPN and you get to do deals with UFC and you get to do deals with and John Cena's on Good Morning America and hosting the ESPYs. If John Cena's out there flipping the bird and drinking beer, he's never hosting Good Morning America. It's not the same company anymore, and it's never going to be again.
No.
Now, I want to talk about the whole Ariel Helwani thing here in just a second, but here's what I think. I got a theory of what's going to – another thing that Vince gets out of this is Brock's profile gets raised. Ronda may come. Paige may come. The other thing Vince gets is who I think, if everything goes according to plan, Brock's going to fight Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. He's going to beat Brock coming out. Hopefully, in Vince's mind, coming off a UFC win, Roman's going to beat Brock clean in the middle of the ring, and you're established as the WWE's badass. Mark my words, it's going to happen.
Ooh, you talk about pissing off a lot of, which granted is what they need to do because it's going to create a huge buzz. I mean, that's going to be a huge buzz if that happens. I mean, I would like to see this. I mean, okay, Brock fights at UFC 200. Obviously, I think you got to put him on Raw that Monday.
If he's not hurt, absolutely.
If he's not hurt, yeah. I mean, and I'm guessing right then I guess it's right at a month away from SummerSlam.
Actually, I think they say the rumored draft date is July 11th, which is that Raw after UFC 200.
Okay.
Because UFC 200 is July 9th.
Okay. I'd be interested when they make this Brock match and they announce what he's doing at SummerSlam. That's what I'm interested in, because
it'll be the Monday after Battleground, because Roman will be in some kind of match at Battleground.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like I said, he needs to be on that Raw after UFC 200 if he's not hurt. They need to establish something and say he's coming at SummerSlam. And did they say he's coming for the title? Did they automatically say that?
No, they just said it. No, they just said it. Or did they say that?
No, I'm asking. Do you think they automatically like Heyman says, "Hey, we're coming for the WWE title next. We've already done our UFC thing. We're coming back for the WWE title, no matter who it is."
I think if Brock if Brock wins this fight, I think you have to.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go some kind of parallel of he just won a UFC fight. Now he's going to go fight for, I mean, I think you have to. And
you can't put him in a regular match, I don't think, at that point.
Absolutely not. No. He can't fight Dean Ambrose again or Cesaro or Kevin Owens. He's got to fight Roman Reigns, somebody the caliber like Roman Reigns. He's not going to fight The Undertaker again. The Undertaker or like John Cena. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Coming off a major thing like UFC 200, he's not fighting some jabroni. I'm sorry. I heard people today saying, what if he fights Kevin Owens? And that's not freaking happening. Kevin Owens is not going over on Brock Lesnar. Get that stupid shit out of your head.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move away from the WWE effect and just talk about the straight news that happened. So like I mentioned earlier when we first started talking about this, Ariel Helwani, who is like the name as far as MMA reporting, broke the Brock Lesnar story. And then shortly after UFC 199 Saturday night, he tweeted out that he was kicked out of the arena and his UFC credential was taken away for life because of it, because they were pissed off about it, which I see. The UFC, especially they had that trailer, which was a badass trailer, which, they had all their guys, and then Brock just at the very end, which was a famous quote from him when he did fight, which is, "Can you see me now?" I mean, it was awesome. So I see the fact that the UFC was a little pissed off that was spoiled. But to cut this guy out and to freaking take his credential away for life, supposedly, because of it, seems a little bit harsh.
Yeah, it makes it, I mean, it's got to be hard to be even a journalist because, I mean, you don't know how far that's your job to report. That was his job. I mean, he was the guy. I mean, he is the guy in journalism as far as, reporting for MMA. And I don't know this. I saw where, Dana said too, he's like, he's welcome to come back if he buys a ticket. I mean, my thing is, does Dana White not know what kind of era we're in right now? I mean, this is the social media driven era. I mean, things get leaked. There's nothing secret anymore. There is nothing secret. And in fact, I thought actually UFC kind of wanted this out because I think it leaked, an hour, 2 hours before the show? Is that right? I
think it was like 4, but yeah, just right before the show took off.
Well, because I gotta be honest, again, I'm not a huge UFC guy. I keep it mildly. And as soon as I heard that, they said, there's supposed to be an announcement tonight. They might do like a promo video with Brock in it. That's the rumor. That kind of made me want to buy the pay-per-view. I didn't, but that kind of made me want to buy it just to see what kind of promotion they were going to do for Brock in it. So I thought that was like a genius move to like promote the show. And then they do something like take away, Ariel's credentials. I mean, I think it's a BS move. So.
I do too, and I think the UFC already sees it because there's a guy that works for the LA Times that is tweeting out that the UFC has already rescinded it and already given Ariel already rescinded their move. Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting to see, if Ariel shows up in Vegas at UFC 200 and actually can cover the event like he normally is. I don't think this lasts because I think even though Dana White has a reputation for being kind of an asshole and kind of a dick, and they monopolize the MMA world, this is such a people from ESPN were tweeting out how bad it was, and to not
Then you gotta know it's bad then.
Well, not that, but still, I mean, when like the journalism world is getting behind this guy, I think the UFC is going to have to back off.
Oh, I mean, they have to again because to me this kills like journalism. Again, it's social media driven world. You have to allow this.
Plus, I know you don't follow it that closely, but Dana's known for this. He's done this with fighters too. Like,
I'm sure.
He's gone forever. He's gone forever, and then a year later, he's back and he's fighting.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Vince. It's kind of like Vince. People leave under horrible terms. They get fired like Punk did or whatever, and then they ultimately all come back. It's the same scenario.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, the dude was only 42 years old, but the news broke like a freaking hour ago. Kimbo Slice dead. He fought for Bellator like a month and a half ago. And he's dead of apparent heart failure at 42. This is a guy, you know, say what you want. The guy was a walking bit. There's no denying that. I mean, he was never a serious, like, fighter, but the guy, you know, I mean, he could have never lasted in the UFC. He could have never lasted. I mean, he fought once in the UFC and he got beat by guys that were just, you know, 10 times better than him. But when he, you know, there used to be an MMA company called Elite XC, and they were this ragtag company, but when he would headline a fight, even though it was horrible, like 1 million people would tune in. 1 million people tuned in, you know, for Bellator when he fought 75-year-old Ken Shamrock a couple of months ago.
Which I heard was horrible.
Yeah, it was awful. He fought this guy, Bada 5000, who he almost died. Apparently, this guy's heart stopped in the octagon. Wow. It's just something that, like, this guy was whatever, you know. Maybe he wasn't a legitimate fighter. Maybe he wasn't, but the guy put asses in seats, and the guy made people watch him. And it was crazy because the guy got famous by, like, YouTube and bare knuckle fights on YouTube. That's how he got famous. And then they tried to make him a fighter. I mean, and now he's apparently dead at the age of only 42, which is crazy to me because if you see the guy on TV or you see pictures of the guy, he looks like he's about 72.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he looked terrible.
And he's only 8 years older than me. And which is, golly, it makes me hope I don't die in the next 8 years. But, you know, I hate it for anybody. I mean, yeah, he was kind of a joke, kind of a punchline. But I hate to hear anybody does, especially 42. I know the guy's got kids. I don't know if he's married or not. So, I mean, it sucks. But
it's going to be probably even sadder to hear what maybe the cause was too, because you never know. I mean, I'm sure the guy had his, you know, his vices and stuff like that. So I mean, you don't want it to be anything bad, but you know, the age of 42, you know, yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, you say that, and he did just after his last Bellator fight, he got suspended for taking steroids, so you don't know what else he was taking. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hope for his kids and his family that it's not something like that, but I don't think you can rule that out.
No.
Now, I hate to put it this way, but a much more important death. Muhammad Ali died this weekend, which is sad. Everybody loves Muhammad Ali. I mean, how could you not?
Go ahead.
Whoa! No! Don't do that and then back off. Step up to the plate, my friend.
Look. You know, I wrote about him as soon as it happened. You know, the guy he changed sports. I mean, he really did. I mean, there's maybe no one bigger and more influential in changing sports and making them the way that they are now. Because, you know, given a wrestling term here, he pretty much made the promo. I mean, he was a poet.
Right.
But I just, you know, again, I didn't grow up watching him. You know, I'm 29, so I didn't get to see it. I mean, just, you know, looking back at his fights. But if I had to pick, I would have been a Smoking Joe fan. You know, just watching Smoking Joe. But that's just me. You know, I didn't like some of his you know, crazy antics and crazy things he said. I mean, some of the stuff was just, I mean, you know, he called Joe Frazier, you know, Uncle Tom. I thought that was one of the worst things you could call someone, you know, especially like that. I mean, I do not care for him, you know, and it sucks because he's got all this cool looking apparel with Under Armour and Roots of Fight, and I'm just like, I'm not buying a bit of that. So, but again, I respect. He was an incredible talent,
wow.
And again, he changed sports. Yeah, I threw you off. That's a curveball right there.
Yeah, I don't even know where to go from that. And I'm sitting there looking to talk about Ali and how great he was, and you freaking just basically bashed the dude.
Dude, no, I praised him right there. I mean, come on.
No, you basically said, you know, you said he sucks.
Well, yeah, well, go see what Piers Morgan said about him. That's pretty interesting too.
I don't give a gosh. Good God.
I agree. I'll give you that too. I don't like Piers Morgan either. So.
Piers Morgan's a jackass.
I agree.
So, but you mentioned something in your bashing of Muhammad Ali that we need to talk about. The fact that I don't know that he had the nickname of the greatest. And yes, he was the great. He may, honestly, based on influence alone, may have been the greatest boxer, or not the greatest boxer, the greatest athlete of all time. Because I don't know if you follow social media and is there any athlete that has ever had more of an influence than Muhammad Ali?
Everybody quotes him.
On other people. On other people.
No.
Has any, the only person that even close to came to mind to me was Jordan, but I don't even think Jordan gets in the ring with Ali, no pun intended.
Well, again, Ali was all encompassing. He not only had the, his athletic prowess, but I mean, it was, his mouth too. And like just his antics, period. I mean, he was all around. I mean, and that goes for saying, because, granted, I don't know all the ins and outs about boxing and all that, but he was very unorthodox too. I mean, he was, no one could do what he did. I mean, just, you can't teach that. So
yeah, like Enzo and Cass says, you can't
that's
teach
right.
that. I mean, that's what struck me more about it was once, I mean, obviously I knew Ali. I knew everybody knows what he did, but that's what struck me more about his death than anything is I don't know that there was ever another athlete that had more influence than him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you knew him even if you didn't know anything about boxing. Again, there's three names, or there's a couple names that come to mind. If you don't know anything about what they did, but you just know of them. That's Muhammad Ali, Elvis, Michael Jackson, and Michael Jordan. I mean, you know them, even though if you don't know their what they did.
All right, before we get out of here tonight, we gotta take something from the column of WTF. Maybe one of the weirdest stories that I've seen in a long time. So. Aqib Talib, NFL player, pretty solid. Not fantastic, but really solid NFL player. Story breaks this weekend that he was shot. Then news comes out that he was so drunk he doesn't remember who shot him.
No surprise.
Then the news comes out that based on the trajectory of the bullet, it looks like he might have shot himself.
It's not
because it went through the back of his leg and out his calf, like it was in his pocket and he just hit the trigger or something.
Wow.
Now I read that he is telling people he shot himself, just not public. First of all,
I don't even want to say it.
If you're so drunk you shoot yourself, you deserve to be shot.
Probably yes. Mm-hmm.
Second of all, when are these freaking pro athletes ever going to stop carrying guns and shit? You make millions of dollars. You don't need to be a thug anymore, dude. You don't need to carry a gun.
Stay out of clubs.
If you wanna, show how hard you are or whatever, you make enough money, hire a security force with guns. You don't need to carry them, you jackass.
Yeah. I mean, I also saw he was parked at, of course, is it even been confirmed that he was actually he was at the club? Because I saw something.
I don't care. He shot himself.
Well, no, I agree. But they're saying he was parked at some park at 3:45 a.m. And, as Todd Chrisley says, there's nothing open after 2 a.m. but legs and emergency rooms. And, I mean, he should have stayed out of both of them. So.
Stop the show. Stop the show.
I always got to get one on you. I always got to get one.
Just quoted.
That's a hilarious show, and it is.
You just quoted the gayest straight man on the face of the earth. I don't know if it's maybe you love it because you guys sound alike with your accents.
Oh, thank you.
Or I don't know, but the fact that you just quoted Todd Chrisley, I just don't even know what to say.
Well, it's a funny show. Just accept it.
You just quoted Todd Chrisley.
It's better. It's way better than the Hardys segment. I can promise you that.
That's so false. Okay, so back to this. I mean, I just don't get these athletes. I mean, just like Jason Pierre-Paul. You make millions of dollars and you're going to go light fireworks with your own hands. I mean, if you're that big of a dumbass, you deserve what you got. Maybe that makes me insensitive. I don't care. You deserve it.
I think
it millions of dollars. Act like it.
I think it proves why athletes are athletes for the most part, because most of them are just completely dumb. I mean, we see this crap all the time. They can't stay out of clubs. Apparently now they're shooting their fingers off with fireworks. I mean, just have common sense. They don't have any common sense. It's amazing.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get it. When the story kept breaking, I just kept thinking, like, why? Why would you do this? Why are you that big of a dumbass?
It's always some of the better players in the league too. I mean, Talib's one of the better corners in the NFL.
Right. Jason Pierre-Paul was one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. Now he's got a club for a hand.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Well, I think that's about it for tonight. Like we said, going forward, this is going to be the new BS with CSR. It's not just going to be all wrestling. We're going to keep talking wrestling. We're going to talk whatever is news during the week, and and see where we go. Make sure you're following bswithcsr.com. Check us out on iTunes, Audio Boom. Our show will be up later this week, so you can check out the audio form if you didn't watch it tonight. Make sure you're following Shane at @Shoemaker24. Make sure you're following me at Blake Mitchamore. BS with CSR is the show's Twitter page. We have our own Facebook page. We're all over the place. Make sure you're keeping up with what we're doing. We'll catch you next week.